Hello, everybody. It's me, Jillian Leslie, founder of Catch My Party, the largest party idea site on the web, the Milo Tree app, which is an app that pops up, it's a pop-up app to grow your social media followers and email subscribers. And I am host of the Blogger Genius podcast, but really, I call myself a business translator. I take what's working in online business now, and I break it down so you can take it into your own blog and have success with it. So today, I am going to have my friend Melanie Ferguson join me. Hope it works. I tried to do this yesterday and I had some technical snafus, and David, who is my partner, my husband, and just a tech guru, was not here to help me. So I was like stranded. And again, what I want to say is technology is hard. We talk about it all the time. So again, when your technology works, it's awesome. But when it doesn't work, don't beat yourself up, because it happens to every single person, including David. Now, he can solve it. I can't always solve it. But still, just know that's like a normal thing. So here, I'm going to invite Melanie on. Melanie.
Hello.
I can hear you. Yay. Okay. So David and I did a test and we got it to work. So hello and welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I want to say that in many ways, you are my Facebook coach, because you really, like, I had another Facebook group and I was really digging into it. And I didn't realize that it was private. And once you have a private group, you can't set it to public. And the reason why I guess you want a public group is so people can kind of, people can kind of share beyond the group. And if it's a private group, everything stays in that group. And we're not really sharing super personal things. I get why there is the thinking of, why you might want to have a private group. But for what we're doing, which is we want to share stuff and we want to get it out there, it makes so much more sense to have a public group. And you said to me, you go, you know what? Start a new group. And I was terrified. However, it's been really cool. And so I want to thank you for your advice. And I feel like it's more dynamic because of this ability to share in and out of the group.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for saying you think I'm your Facebook coach. That might be a little too far, but I do have a group, Grow a Six-Figure Audience, Grow a Six-Figure Following on Facebook. So I do help people grow their audiences. And one of the key ways, and this is one of the ways I've grown my blog, is through Facebook groups. And so I love that you took the leap to not have.
Hold on one second. I don't come over. Help. I need tech help. David's saying it's too loud from my end, and you will see.
Okay.
Okay, he's telling me to keep going. All right. So anyway, so go back.
I love that you've taken the leap and that you have that abundance mentality, because I know that you will grow that group beyond what you had with the private group going. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's like you need people. And again, this is what I try to do with my podcast. I interview people like you. We're going to talk about that. And then I hear what's working. And then I shout it, hopefully from the rooftops, to say, try this. Now, not every strategy will work for every person. But when people discover stuff, because the thing that's cool about the internet is everything's always changing. And so there are people, though, out in the world testing things all over the place. And so if somebody's having success with something, to be able to then share that so others can try it is always so powerful. And one thing about you, Melanie, is that you're so willing to share, what's worked for you and how you've been able to grow different businesses, especially using Facebook. And I don't know if you saw the title. So you were on my last podcast that went live last week. And I said, yes, you can grow a successful business on Facebook. And I think that a bunch of us felt like, oh, Facebook, it's like this platform, you feed it and it doesn't love you back. However, there are ways to get it to love you back. And I think a lot of it, and we've always heard this word engagement. Facebook wants engagement, especially after Facebook changed its algorithm and said, oh, we're not going to show as much content from brands or from news. We really want it to be about connection with friends, with family, that kind of thing. And I think you've been able to figure out a way to grow not just a big audience, because you have over 100,000 followers, but an engaged audience. Would you share kind of your top tips for how you've been able to do this and how it's worked for you?
Well, there's so many. I almost can't squeeze them all in a couple minutes, but I will say that obviously consistency is huge and people don't want to hear that. It's kind of like take your vitamins, drink your water, be consistent, but it's true. It's kind of like going into a store and the shelves are all empty. People don't want to stay. They're like, well, I only needed one thing, but I don't want to go see if they have it because they don't have anything else. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a stocked store, meaning every time they show up there's something new they can see, there's something that's being served up to them, it's more beneficial. So being consistent. And also it probably puts you in a position with Facebook's algorithm to say, hey, they're a real business.
Right. Is she showing up? You know what I mean? Like she's showing up because again, Facebook, like all of the social media networks, like they want to be successful. And the way that they're successful is when people go to the platform and have a good time or get the information they want. So you're totally right. If I come and look for you, Melanie, and you're not there and I'm like bummed, and then I go off, Facebook, and I was going to say go to Instagram, but Instagram, of course, is owned by Facebook. Let's say I go then to TikTok. Like Facebook has lost me, let's say, and that's not good. And so Facebook is saying, well, I'm not going to show Melanie to Jillian because Melanie's not reliable. So, I'm going to show somebody who does show up. It's funny. So David and I started Catch My Party 2009, and we've grown it into a very large site. And people say to me all the time, how'd you do that? Mm-hmm. And I say, and this is, again, one of those things like take your vitamins, I say, there's no silver bullet, and I wish there were. And really, it is, as David likes to call it, it's a long slog. It is being in the trenches day after day. Now you learn as you do it, and you get better at it, and you make smarter and smarter choices. But if I could tell you, here, turn this dial here, or buy this app, or do whatever, and you're going to have enormous success, like if that were the case, I would be doing it myself, or I would be selling it for millions of dollars. But it's not. Like, there is no easy answer. It's kind of like weight loss. There's no like, oh, I just do this one thing and then I've lost 20 pounds. It doesn't work like that. Like, it is, building a business on the internet is all about showing up.
Exactly.
So when you say show up, what does that look like for you?
Well, just again, the consistency. There is a certain number of times that you should be posting based on the size of followers you have, your audience. And it varies again, as you grow, you need to be posting more often. And it matters that it's not all on top of each other. I've seen people where they like, oh, I'm supposed to do 2 posts a day, so I'm going to shove them both out 8 and 8:30. No. Mm-hmm. You need to also kind of follow what your people's patterns are. If you notice you get more people to react and show up for your content at a certain time of day, then you should do that. So that being said, I mean, there is also going live, and that is a huge ingredient. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, Facebook is dead, like you said, and they don't think that they can grow their blog that way. Well, part of it is you've never gone live. And unfortunately, the algorithm is going to favor the pages that go live. And
I'm going to say, tell me if you agree. I think going live is the secret sauce. So I've done a bunch of posts about like the 5 things that I think successful bloggers do. And I've now included in that going live, because for the bloggers that we work with, that I interview, that I see, there are certain things that people do. And one of them is show their face and go live and connect and say, like, I'm a real person. And especially, and I've said this, during a pandemic where we can't be with people, going live today is even more valuable. And going live with, like, I did put on some mascara and some lipstick, but like being as authentic and as kind of like real as you possibly can, like not just with beautiful filters and like a beautiful, I don't know, set, and you've got like, so you're in some awesome place, like you're on vacation, you've got that beautiful beach, shot. Like, no, none of us are doing that. So it's like showing up and showing up in the struggle and saying, like, hey guys, how are you really doing? Like, today's a weird day. Like, how's it going? Like, how can I help be there to even just to kind of be a smiling face?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your thought about that?
100%. I mean, that is what people are wanting. That's what they need more than ever, is community, because we've all been cut off from society for all practical purposes. And, when we do go out, we're like covered behind a mask, and this is all we see. So it's about being in front of your people, and you will attract who you are supposed to attract. It will be your perfect person. People that tend to gravitate towards other people, they know, like, and trust them because they see a little bit of themselves in them. Mm-hmm. And they can't get that from just words on a piece of paper or words on a screen. Mm-hmm. They get that from interacting with you and just seeing what you're doing every day. And I'm not saying you have to go live every day, but, be consistent when you do go live. I mean, I recommend at least twice a week. And it doesn't have to always be your face, but at least one of those needs to be your face, or you become irrelevant. There is, in a time where there's more traffic online than there's ever been, the way that you're going to stand out is going to be you.
I love that. I think that is so true. And for the people, by the way, and it's not, I feel like only in the last maybe year, because I do a podcast once a week, I thought to myself, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to force myself to go live once a week and talk about my podcast, because, oh my God, I've got this content of interviewing all these cool people. Like, I want to shout it from the rooftops and say, guys, somebody's having success here. Try this, if I can help. Like, that's what I wanted to do. And so I started, and it was awful. And it was uncomfortable, and it felt really weird. And now I'm getting more used to it. It's still weird, but the one thing I did, like, we do a coaching group, and like, I challenged everybody in my coaching group. I said, okay, we're going to meet in 2 more weeks. I want to challenge you to go live one time. And it could be like a short, just a story on Instagram. Like, it can be the tiniest bit, but just do it and see what happens. And I will tell you that most of them took me up on it, and then they've been sending me their videos, and they look so much better than they think they do. Like, we're so critical of ourselves, and yet, like, it was so fun to see them, because they're like my friends, they show up on Zoom with me, and to see them do this, one, to challenge themselves, but 2, to recognize, like, wow, they look so good. It was so satisfying. So my hunch is, for you out there who are watching this, try it. And if you do it, like, email it to me, like, share it with me, or I don't know, Melanie, if you'd want to see it too, but like, really, because we'll celebrate you. Like, it is a huge accomplishment, and it does feel weird. Like, it totally does. And you shared, Melanie, that you still think it's weird.
I totally just shared in my coaching group this morning. I said, I still get nervous when I hit that live button. I have to take a deep breath and do it anyway, because no one's going to hit that button for me. No one's going to grow my business for me. And, so it's up to me. And if you look at it like, okay, so when I was in real estate for 20 years, you had to get really comfortable with going and meeting with strangers and selling yourself as the person to give them their services for selling their home. And so you had to kind of take yourself out of the equation and just say, listen, I know I'm the best person for the job. So I'm going to do this favor for them, and I'm going to put myself out there because I don't want them to get in the wrong hands.
Oh, I like that.
So the same thing with your lives. Do this for them. You have a message that is needing to be heard. Your services are needed. And it's probably best that they're from you for whoever gets them, because that's who they're meant to be for.
Oh, I really like that. Again, I totally agree with you. You know, I was actually talking to somebody this morning, giving her feedback on her blog. And again, I repeated the message, and it sounds really weird and callous, but I said, her website landed on her about page. And I said, no. People, they don't care about you. Like, they care about what you can do for them. So meaning, have it land on a blog post, and then in the right rail, the right column, have you, so that you're there. But really, I'm not there for you, this person. I'm there because I want your recipe, or I want your DIY, or I want something that you can offer to make my life better. And then I want you standing there kind of like being this helpful person. But it's like, and something about that for me is very reassuring. Like, people, like, to be honest with you, I will be so much more critical of myself than you will be. Because if I'm giving you stuff where you go, if you could listen to this live and at the end of it, you go, you know what, I really do need to try going live, we'll have done our job. And to be honest, like we've done, that's it. It's all you need from us. Like, you're not necessarily going to be dissecting us or being critical of us. We're just giving you this one piece of information. And if you can take it and run with it, awesome. And so it's not about us. It's about like this messaging and hopefully pushing you forward. And when I can get out of my own, that helps me get out of my own way. So when I can get out of my own way, then I can deliver the message.
Yes, the magic is in the message, not in you. So you are the deliverer of the content. And so honestly, when I was working on my page, which is a DIY home decorating page, I was worked up before I would hit the live button going, oh my gosh, what am I going to say about this? Or what are they going to think about this? I learned really quickly, they didn't really care about up here. They just wanted to see down here. And what are you making? Well, what did you use? Well, where'd you buy that? Well, what are you going to use? What are you going to do with it after you make it? Where are you going to put it? You know, it wasn't about, well, you know, myself. So.
And that's a really, it's like, if we can get that in our brains, I think that is really valuable. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and it's like that perfect age where she thinks everybody's looking at her and nobody's looking at her because everybody's worried about themselves. Yes. And so really, I can use that in my own life to go, oh my God, because I see it so clearly for her. You know, because like she'll have some small thing that she thinks everybody is paying attention to. And I go, oh, no, nobody notices. So anyway, so think about your own inner 13-year-old and how we take that with us, that we think everybody's looking at us, and they're really not, because everybody, you know, especially if your audience is mothers, we're so busy. You know, it's so funny. I one time went to a dinner with these like fashion kind of bloggers. And it was so fascinating because, one, they were so well dressed, right? The moms, we looked all kind of ragged. And they were, you totally know, like this stage of life. They're like in their they're in their mid 20s, and they've got the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and they're just like moving into their first apartment. And they're decorating the apartment, and they're sharing what the cool places they go on the weekend, like where they go get ice cream or them biking. And this was when I was living in LA. And it was so interesting because their audiences wanted all of the details about their lives, because their audiences were like 20-something women who were wanting that life of like, oh, I wish I were moving in with my boyfriend. So they were into all the minutia of like, oh, you know, you know, I love your hair, your earrings, and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, it's so interesting, because then you move into a different stage in life, like where you become a mom and you've no time for that, those 20-somethings. Like, it was so interesting because I was like, well, my audience doesn't care where I go get ice cream with my husband. You know, they care about like I don't know, like it was, especially for Catch My Party, like how do I throw the Frozen party for my kid? So it's just interesting that like it totally depends on where you are in your time in life, but at least where I am and teaching bloggers, you don't care where I get ice cream. That I've got the cute shot with my fiance, and what kind of pillows we're buying for our couch. Now for you, people might care what kind of pillows you're buying for your couch, but it's like a different time, it's like because people want to nest, not because they want to live vicariously through you.
My people just want to know, what is the 3-ingredient recipe, the 5-minute thing, the easy decorating tip. They want to know when do you start decorating for a certain holiday, that kind of stuff. This fast, easy, quick, whatever's inexpensive. And then, I mean, I just am always like, okay, well, I'm here to deliver that to you, because that's what they're asking for.
Right. So if you are 25, moving in with your fiance, people will love that personal story. But when you're married and you've got some kids, you have to like be where your audience is and what they're interested in and what they want from you. So just be thinking that way. Okay. Do you have any kind of final tips for people who really want to start really leaning back into Facebook?
Well, gosh, there's so many. Again, if you're nervous about going live, which we keep telling you is the answer, just put a sticky note on the front of your phone and put a smiley face on the sticky note, so that when you turn your phone around and all you can see is the button, the red button, you just push that and then you just talk to the sticky note that's smiling to remind you to just smile. And then talk as long as you can, try to go live for at least 10 minutes, 12, 15 is better. Come on. We're all like, I know there's girls and guys, but most of us can chat for as long as we can chat to a wall. And just, put yourself out there. Try not to use links in your descriptions, because I've noticed that really can sort of delay the reach of your post. So try to save those, to put them in the comments. But I've seen a lot of bloggers do that. I've seen a lot of bloggers post, a beautiful photo off their blog, like maybe their featured image, and then they've got a blurb about it and a link. Okay, well, that's not going to go to many people.
Because Facebook doesn't want you off the platform.
Right. So what's more effective is if you do have any like before and afters, to show the before and say, holy guacamole, the transformation of this is insane. You've got to see what this looks like. Find out below, and then have it in the comments. So, it's got to be a little bit intriguing to the person to incentivize them to actually look for the link and then want to go see what it is.
Oh, that's a very good tip. Okay. So no links. But see, you're my teacher, so no links in my comments. I will not do that. And again, think about it from Facebook's point of view. They want to keep you on the platform. So if you're putting a bunch of links to leave, you can do that because it benefits you, but also recognize that there's a cost to be paid for that. And so that is a great tip. And then the other thing that I do want you to share, because this was reassuring for me. Do you have to go live at a certain time? Like, let's say you go live twice a week. Do you know that you're going to go live like on Monday at 3 and on Tuesday or Thursday at 3, or do you just kind of show up?
I just show up because it's like, no way. Like, I didn't get into business for myself to not do business the way I answer to Facebook on some things, but it's good to be consistent with your time so that your people have something to count on. But then again, I'm randomly consistent. Like, they pretty much know they're not going to not hear from me for over a week. Like they know they're going to hear from me. They're just not sure exactly which day or when. Okay. But for the most part, they kind of know it's going to be a weekday. And then if maybe a Saturday morning, but they pretty much know I'm not going to be live Sunday afternoon. I mean, they get into an idea like after 2 years, they kind of know when you're going to be live, but I don't put a schedule out there because life happens. And I don't want to, I mean, I see a lot of people make this mistake. They go back in and go, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to do the live at 8:00 because I had XYZ happen in my personal life and you don't really care, but I'm telling you. And it's like, that's not good. Like people don't want to hear your excuses. And that's a wasted post. That's wasted content that you're putting out there is just the excuse of why you couldn't go live when you shouldn't have said when you were going live anyway. So,
I love that. Okay, because I wanted you to share that only because I think it takes the pressure down, so that it's not like, oh, I need to go live twice a week and I need it to be on a Tuesday and on a Friday at this specific time. And if I miss it, I failed. So it's a wasted week. I like that you say, you know what, my people kind of get my rhythms. And if I veer outside of those times, they understand and that they know I'm going to show up. And so again, it takes the pressure off, or takes the pressure down. Therefore, there's really honestly, because it is so easy and we walk around with a video camera like right here, there aren't a lot of good excuses for not going live, because you only have to pop in there and go live for, as you say, 10, 15 minutes. Chances are you can find that time. So please, I want to challenge you out there to do this and to see what happens and to see if you can create a tighter connection with your audience. Because as Melanie said, and this is so valuable, you have something to offer to make people's lives better. And it's almost like, especially during this weird time, it's like you might think of it as an obligation to put it out there. Because if you can help one person, that's one person that, couldn't have gotten that help. So just think that way. Like you're needed. You're needed.
I also think of it like this. It's my job. It's my job. And no offense to anyone who digs ditches, but I always remind myself, you're not out there digging ditches. You're not out there digging ditches. Like all you have to do, Melanie, is hit the button.
I like that. I really like that. I do. Okay, Melanie, how can people find you? How can they follow you? How can they see what you're doing on Facebook?
Yes.
And find your blog?
Okay. Well, my Facebook page is Southern Crush at Home. You can use the little @ and Southern Crush at Home and it'll pop up. It says Melanie Ferguson DIY Home Decorating. And then my blog is southerncrushathome.com.
Okay, so southerncrushathome.com, and go see what Melanie's doing, because she's doing some really beautiful, interesting stuff, and kind of watch her, learn from her, because, but it's true, see what she's doing, because I think it's like just making a couple smart choices to start, and that you can do it too. So I'm in there with you guys. This is new to me. And I'm in it. So please come join me. And if you do go live, send me a link to it. I'd love to see what you're doing. All right, Melanie, thank you for coming on. So glad we fixed all of this technical stuff so we can do this again.
Yes, awesome. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so guys, I love her. And I'm serious when I say, if you do go live, please send it to me. Please challenge yourself to try. You won't die. It might be scary, and it does feel weird. It really does. So know that. So I hope you have a wonderful day. And I put in my Facebook group, if you see it, what is your one word today that resonates with you? And mine is breathe. So throughout the day, I've just been reminding myself to breathe, and it's been really nice. Also, I've done a meditation podcast episode, and I'm thinking of doing another one as the holidays are coming, and we might be even more isolated. So let me know if that's interesting to you. Just either message me or leave it in a comment. Also, if you're watching this on replay, just let me know. And if you have any questions, I'm here. So please reach out to me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, take care. Bye.